Get ready to hear some noise tonight. You're just seconds away from Let's Go Blues Radio.
No doubt about it, eh? You're listening to Kurt, Bill, and Jeff on Let's Go Blues Radio, the original St. Louis Blues hockey fan podcast. Take it away, boys.
Okay, I don't know. Whatever it is, it's not right on the teleprompter. I don't know what that is. I've never seen that. Okay. Now, I can't read it. There's no words on it. Sure. There's no words there. I can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live. Live! Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live. And thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
Welcome to Season 6, Episode 21 of Let's Go Blues Radio. The three of us are live on Thursday, March 29th, 2018. This is franchise episode number 124 all time. My name is Kurt Price, and my Twitter handle is @KurtPrice. Bill Day's Twitter handle is @BillyBlueNote, and Jeff Ponder's Twitter handle is @JPonder94. If you want to send the show a tweet, send it to @LGB Radio, and we will read it live on the air. If we have time later, and if you would like to join us on the air to talk some blues hockey, go to letsgoblues.com/radio and click on the join button later on in the show. We'll also post that link on Twitter as well. And we'll let you know when that is available. Gentlemen, it's been a couple weeks. For reasons that our old show's account was suspended, so we didn't do a show last week, but we're back this week. How are you guys doing?
Great. Let me tell you, I'm okay. First of all, I don't know if you guys can hear that.
You what? You broke up.
I'm echoing pretty bad.
Oh, are you?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it sounds like I feel that's my problem.
Now I sound great. No, I don't. No, I don't. This is the worst to a show ever.
Well, it's your fault. Now is it better?
Let's see. You know what? I sound crystal clear and beautiful as I always do. YouTube, I don't know what's going on with you. I thought you and I had something, but I'm starting to think that I might need to go a separate way here because I'm not okay with suspending an account for no reason. For those that have never had an account suspended by YouTube, they literally suspend your account, so you send in an appeal, and then they don't tell you what you did. They just tell you, yeah, we're going to keep you suspended. So, to me, it's like Vladimir Tarasenko stepping off the ice and the NHL announcing, Vladimir Tarasenko has been suspended for 5 games. Okay, what did you do? It's what it was. It's very silly. We're glad to be back on YouTube this week, but once we are looking at other avenues, so there's a chance that's going to stop. And when it does, I will voice my true concerns with YouTube.
Yeah, it's that's exactly what happened. I have no idea what happened. Why we were suspended. Looked over the reasons why an account can be suspended, and we didn't come close to violating any of them. So I have no idea what happened. And yeah, appeals were sent, and you can only appeal once. Can't appeal more than once. And they said, and it's all automated. There's not a person behind the button that does this stuff. It's all stuff gets flagged or tripped or whatever, and then you get suspended. And I'm not sure how the appeal process works. You would hope somebody would review those, but I don't see how they could. They probably get just tons of those. So it's messed up. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I'll leave the YouTube bitching to you guys. And that
YouTube's convenient. It's nice. Everyone can just view and watch along. But we do have another option that we're kind of ironing things out. So it'll be almost the same thing as YouTube. So we'll see.
Nothing will change for our viewers that like to watch live, or I don't think it's going to change much for those that like to view the show after either, right? I mean, it's...
we'll probably end up putting it up on YouTube.
That's a good call.
Or Vimeo, or, there's other...
I'm guessing the people that access the show that watch live probably check out our link that we post on Twitter or Facebook or whatever. So if that's the case, if that's how you're getting the feed for the show when you watch live every week, that's not going to change for you. So you don't need to worry about that.
Right.
And obviously those that podcast, you don't need to worry about that either.
Nope. So that was the reason for no show last week. So we're here now. Don't
Easter
forget
plans, fellas. What's your Easter plans?
Easter will come and go, and I've never been. I think we talked about this last year on Easter. I have never been a fan of Easter. I just don't. I mean, I took when I was a kid. I took the eggs. I took the candy. But I was like, Easter. It's way down the list of important holidays for me personally. What do you? We're going to my parents' house, and on Saturday, and then we're hunting eggs at my house on Sunday. So
It's all about the kids.
All about the kids, yeah.
Yeah,
So.
we're my family. We no kids left in the family, so we are gonna spend the afternoon with my 95-year-old grandmother. So that'll be nice.
Bill, if you don't have kids in your family, why do you still dress up in your Easter bunny costume every year?
Malls need Easter bunnies.
Pays well.
And I thought we agreed not to get into our outside business activities on the show.
Well,
sorry.
We weren't going to mention the bachelorette parties that you do, but so let's not mention that at all.
Thank you.
Right. Summers only, right? Yeah.
Where is Bill hiding the egg, ladies?
Yeah. All right. What are you guys doing, Jeff?
Similar to you guys. We're going to my mom's house on Sunday. My mom's one of those people that
We're going to your house, your mom's house too. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm going to your mom's house.
Oh, well, I'm going to your mom's house.
Oh, well.
Convenient.
Well, I'll see you Monday morning.
We'll pass on the highway.
No, it's my mom's one of those people that she has to celebrate the holiday on the day of. It has to be the day of. So my wife's family has had to adjust. They pretty much are like, well, I guess we'll take Christmas Eve, the day before Easter, the Thanksgiving morning. So we actually even heard from her family if we're doing anything with them. But yeah, we're just going to my mom's house. We'll be doing an Easter hunt there, and like you said, for the kids, it's not much for me either. Some of my favorite memories of Easter is watching a Blues playoff game on Easter.
Mm-hmm.
I remember 2000. The Blues whooped up on the Sharks. That was Game 6 when they were down 3-1. They came back and tied the series 3-3. They beat them like 6-1 or 6-2 or something. And I remember saying, "Oh, we got tickets to Game 7. They're going to win that one." And then Owen Nolan happened. No, I should say, and then Roman Turek happened.
Yeah, Roman Turek jumped for no reason whatsoever.
I've never seen a goalie jump for a save. And you know what? The one time I saw it, it didn't work.
Yeah. Unorthodox.
Yeah.
That was the best word to describe that man.
Bill, have you ever jumped for a puck like that before, ever, in your time as goalie?
Not a puck that was like coming straight at me or heading downwards. I have like messing around in practice, like doing like line drive practice, like I was a shortstop. But that,
you guys like Shake Shack? Have you had it yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Do you like it?
Oh yeah.
You like it? Okay.
Yeah.
Bill?
I mean, it's totally not worth like going over and over. It's just way overpriced for what it is, but it's damn good.
Okay. Ponder, have you had it?
I've actually not had it, and this was a very strange transition. I just want to point that out.
Well, I just wanted to. I had a discussion on Twitter about it, and I just wanted to get quick feedback before we got into the booze stuff. I'm with Bill. I like it, but it's just way overpriced, and so. Anyway.
I'm gonna go because I feel like you have to go at least once.
Oh yeah, no, that's why I went.
I think
that's why I went, and I'd go again if I was, in the area and somebody wanted to go. I'd go. I wouldn't be happy about paying the prices for it because it's expensive, but for what you get, I mean, but yeah, it's whatever. I said that I personally prefer Steak and Shake or Culver's over Shake Shack, but
give me Brahms.
Maybe that's just me. Give me Rallies too.
You guys ever had Brahms before?
Brahms, no.
It's basically the Culvers of Springfield in the South.
Hmm.
It's fantastic. It's all over Dallas when I lived down
It's
there.
not. It's not as good as Shake Shack. Don't dish Shake Shack on Twitter because you get jumped on. Okay. The official beers of episode 124. Bill, I see you brought something very, very nice over there.
Oh yeah, the latest of the Schlafly Ibex Cellar Series, the Imperial Coffee Stout. It's pretty damn good. It's nice and thick, and 9.4% alcohol by volume. Definitely a coffee stout. Little boozy feel to it. I like it.
Now this is the second Ibex you've had on the show
Hmm.
this season. No, I thought you had another one.
Third or fourth,
Okay.
because I had the pumpkin
Yeah.
and I had the Scotch.
I think the Scotch is the one I
I
remember.
think early in the season, I had the local oak.
Okay.
Early in the season.
I think this season, or I think it was this season. I had the stout.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
You had the original Imperial Stout.
Yes.
I still have one bottle of that, and I love that.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
It's good.
Yeah. And to go along with it, I am going to eat my Tim Hortons donut that I brought back from Columbus land.
A little jealous. This is the second time Tim Hortons is being devoured on the show.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry I didn't have more to share.
It's all right.
I've not been a part of either time.
Yeah. The first time was good. We each got a box of the Timbits given to us to eat on the show for the sole purpose of eating on the show.
Yep. And then they go out of business.
Right. Yeah, right. Jeff, what do you got?
I got one of my old reliables, the Urban Chestnut Fantasyland. I know I've had this on the show before. It's just a good, smooth IPA, 6.5 alcohol by volume. I've already had, this is my third one, and I'm halfway through it. So this could be a fun show if you listen to the whole thing here.
It's a shame we haven't lost 6 in a row. You could really go off.
Oh, I know. This is happy, Jeff. This is great.
What time work today?
Yeah, no work tomorrow for Bill or I. So we're kind of both letting loose here. But yeah, it's just, if you've ever had it, like I said, smooth and a little citrusy, a little coconutty. Again, just a good beer that I can enjoy any time of the year.
I didn't have anything special in the fridge that I wanted to break open right now. So this is one of the ones I enjoy, the cherry wheat from Sam Adams. So no M&Ms tonight though with it. Unfortunately.
Man, I could have brought you some caramel M&Ms.
Oh, those are good.
Yeah, I love them.
They're no crispy. If I'm going like alternate plain M&M, I'm a crispy guy.
Really?
Yeah, I like the crispy ones.
It's been a while since I've had them.
And they're, and I would venture to say they're probably not very popular at all, but I like them. I do. Now, not as much as the peanut butter M&Ms. Those are fantastic. But crispy is probably third for me. You ever have the Almond Joy M&Ms when they had them? They don't anymore. Those are good.
No.
Coconut.
Never had those either.
Today in Blues history, courtesy of the @STL Blues history Twitter account, March 29th, 1987. Doug Gilmour of the St. Louis Blues scored 5 goals and had 6 assists, not in one game. That would be a record. In 4 games during the week, and named NHL Player of the Week ending March 29th, 1987 as the Blues clinched a playoff spot. When I read that at first, I thought he had scored 11 points one game. I'm like, I don't recall that at all.
Yeah.
That did not happen.
Must have been against Winnipeg.
That's a player that I guess not in 87. I was 2 years old. Well, at that point I would have been, 2 years old. But as I got older, when I was 93, 94, when the Sega games started coming out, that was a guy I got every game because I was always a huge Doug Gilmour fan. If only he would have kept it in his pants.
He didn't do anything. I was a huge Gilmour fan too, and I remember. I mean, I was '87, I was 13. So I remember him being traded, and that was the I think the first time I was really upset. I didn't like the Mullen trade, but I hated the Gilmore trade.
I did
So.
too.
Yeah. Yeah. The all the rumor and innuendo around why he got moved, just terrible that we had to lose a guy that went on to a Hall of Fame career over some bullshit.
And played a large role in knocking us out of the playoffs that one year.
Yep. Was that 94?
Yeah, 90. Yeah, I think so. 3-4.
Yeah.
Wasn't okay. It wasn't 93. It was
Might have been 93.
It was
Joseph was in net.
Yeah, it was 93.
Yeah.
93 is the year we swept the Hawks.
We
in
swept
the first
the
round.
Hawks and lost to the Leafs.
That's
in the
right.
second round.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. That's
And
right.
then the Leafs lost to the Kings in the third round, and the Kings lost to the Canadiens. And that's the last time a Canadian teams won the Stanley Cup.
I watched one of the Maple Leaf Blues playoff games over at Mayo's house.
Yeah.
And we played FIFA, I don't know, 90 something at his house. I guess 91 or 2 or whatever it was. In between periods.
I will say Doug Gilmore is my biggest inspiration for my beautiful hair that I've been growing out. Big fan, man. I loved him. I loved his look. No homo. Let me start with that. I loved his look when he was with the Maple Leafs. I thought he looked like the stereotypical 90s hockey player.
Okay, Nick. I mean, Jeff. So,
hey, I got a joke for you guys. I got a joke.
Go ahead.
How long is this going to take?
No, I really don't have a joke.
Is anybody going to get it?
Yeah. Be nice.
We love you, Nick.
Nice. So, March 29th, 2007, the St. Louis Blues announced their return to KMWX radio on March 29th, 2007. The Blues have been aired on KMWX for 43 of their seasons played, KTRS for 6 years, and KXOK for 2. I look back on the KTRS years as the dark days of blues radio, to be honest, because the reception for 550 is not good.
Yeah, you get outside the 270 circle, you don't get it.
Yeah, you couldn't have a bigger contrast in signal strength between KMWX and KTRS, because as soon as and the KTRS signal is better during the day, but I think it's like 6 o'clock. They're required by law to turn down their signal strength for reasons I'm not specifically clear on. But it's like 6 o'clock, and almost it's noticeably the station gets staticky, and once you get out to a certain distance away from St. Louis, you can't get the games at all. So, yeah, it was a good thing to go back to KMWX.
This was first of all, I feel like this was the Blues trying to get away from the Cardinals, kind of taking over the airwaves. When the Cardinals season started, the Blues season ended basically for KMOX. And
right, they go to Y98 or something like that. Right. Yeah.
And which is, I get it, but at the same time, you're alienating fans that you've built all over the Midwest. So for example, and I may have told this story on the podcast before, but my dad had a friend in Oklahoma who became a Cardinals fan because of, listening to the KMOX Jack Buck broadcasts. And then vis-a-vis became a Blues fan because he would tune in, on his drive home or whatever, and they'd be talking about the Blues, and all of a sudden he became a hockey fan. So he said that he moved out to a very, it's funny to think of this, a rural part of Oklahoma, which to us, that's all of Oklahoma. But he said that it was not a very populated area that he lived. It was basically farmland. And he said the only spot that he got KMOX was in a spot in his driveway, right in the middle of the driveway. And he would basically edge back and forth in the middle of the winter, and he would find that spot to where he would listen to every Blues game. Every night the Blues played at 7 o'clock, he would go to that spot and he would listen to the games. That was, before obviously you get center ice and all that. And so when they switched in 2007, he was still doing that. So when they switched, I'm sorry, not 2007, it would have been 2001 when they switched to KTRS.
Well, there were 6 years. The return was 2007. So yeah, 2001.
Yeah. So I remember him telling my dad, like, what am I going to do? I can't listen to the Blues games anymore. And that's just one example of somebody who became a Blues fan because it was on KMOX. So yeah, going back to KMOX, despite having to fight the Cardinals for coverage sometimes, is the best move for them.
There's all kinds of Cardinal stories about that. But when the Cardinals were the farthest west team in baseball, and KMOX, as far as KMOX would reach, I mean, it reached states and states away.
Yeah,
they would.
I have an uncle who moved west when he graduated college, and he kept going until he couldn't get it. So he originally stopped in Denver and then wound up moving out to Salt Lake. Never lost out on listening to Cardinals games.
Yeah. And that's there's all kinds of stories like that about the Cardinals. So, and that's part of the reason why the Cardinals fan base is so huge, because they were the farthest west team and they had KMOX. It has something to do with emergency broadcast system plays a role in it, where there's a certain number of stations that in the country that can be used to cover the entire country for important messages that need to be sent over radio, something like that.
Your president just pushed the button.
You're right. Exactly. We're under attack, nuclear war. But so it has something, there's something like that happen. I'm not sure if that's still the case, but I think that played a role in it. And maybe the STL Blues History Twitter account can find out. It's interesting to me.
I like how we just assign him tasks.
Historian.
I think he likes it, doesn't he? Yeah, he likes it. March 29th, 2009, Chris Mason was named the first star of the week, ending March 29th, 2009, as he helped push the St. Louis Blues back to the playoffs after missing them for 3 straight seasons.
And then gave up just a god-awful goal to Alex Burrows to lose the series.
Yeah, that was the getting back to the playoffs. That was a big deal.
That was so excited.
I know.
And then 4 and done.
I know, right? Because they had that great run to make it, and
yeah. Backus played so well down the stretch that year. Yeah, that was awesome.
There was I was at that game against Columbus, right? And when they clinched.
Yep.
And I remember just feeling like they won the Stanley Cup. I took a video, and it's still on my YouTube channel. I should post it again. Of just the crowd at that game when the buzzer went off, and people just, we were going nuts. Like they won the cup, and it was because I think we took for granted. It's annoying that they had that playoff streak and never won a championship, but you also take for granted how great it is just to make the playoffs every year. So when you go that long, and then it was only really the grand scheme of things, was it 5 years that they had not been in, including the lockout year? So
it was 3 years without the playoffs.
That's it, 3 years. Yeah. But it felt like a lifetime for Blues fans.
Because we had been 25 straight years before that. A lot of Blues fans had never experienced no playoffs.
Yeah. I remember my girlfriend at the time and we went out and we partied all night. We stayed up till about 5 a.m. just, oh my God, they made it. They made it. It was jubilation all through St. Louis. It was great. And it just really spoke to how there really are some true Blues fans here.
We were 25 too. So
yeah,
partying all night was probably an everyday thing for you.
Oh, that's true.
The STL Blues History Twitter account asked, he said he was multitasking. What's the homework assignment? And so we were talking about the what you posted today about the Blues returning to KMOX after being on KTRS for 6 years. And I mentioned that KMOX's signal strength, and how I'd heard that there was a handful of stations across the country, radio stations, that could cover the entire country with an emergency broadcast signal or something like we're under nuclear attack or whatever. And I was wondering as to the details as to why KMOX has that power still, and why some stations are forced to turn down their signal, and how it related to sports, and how 5, 6, 7 states away people could hear KMOX's signal and become Blues fans that way or Cardinals fans that way. But I didn't know if you had known why KMOX still has that power that other stations don't. I know it's partly too, I think, due to a signal conflict. With the signal waves that go out, there's something about the competing signals or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm half guessing here.
So, breaking news: I think Minnesota just clinched playoff spot.
Minnesota just clinched a playoff spot, and
Minnesota just clinched a playoff spot,
and helped the Blues distance themselves from Dallas some more. There you go. Since our last show, the last 7 games,
The mood has changed.
The mood has changed. The last 7 games, the last 6 of which the Blues have won, and they've also won 8 of the last 9 overall, 4 of which have been in OT. So the 4-1 loss to Colorado, then the 4-3 overtime win versus the Rangers, the 5-4 overtime win versus Chicago, which I think I tweeted out. I woke up in the neighborhood when we won that game.
Oh yeah,
just beating Chicago. I don't care how bad Chicago is. 2-1 overtime win versus Boston, and the 4-1 win versus Vancouver, 2-1 win versus Columbus, and a 3-2 overtime win on Tuesday versus the Sharks. So those are the 7 games, with the last 6 being wins. So yeah, drastically different show this time than last, because we were coming off some pretty crappy hockey last game.
We basically were calling for heads and saying Sobotka and Berglund go to hell. Now Sobotka and Berglund, president and vice president 2020. I mean, it's jubilation again here in St. Louis. But I mean, in all honesty, they have turned it around. They're playing the way that we expected them to play in December. The OT wins. I mean, as much as you hate to go to overtime and have it go, I mean, one bounce can change the game. It's been exciting hockey, very exciting, much different than what we've seen the past couple weeks. And yeah, I mean, I will say, if the season would have ended 3 weeks ago, I would have had a very sour taste in my mouth. And I hate saying this because it's just so up and down roller coaster emotions. If they still don't make the playoffs, I can at least say, well, hey, they finished the season strong, and they can build on that for next year.
What's that site that posts the percentage odds that the teams make the playoffs?
There's several.
Yeah, well, one that gets posted on Twitter a lot.
Sports Club Stats.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think the Blues are. It's like something like 80-some% of the Blues are going to make it. It's way up there.
So I've actually got that pulled up right now.
Okay.
So they're ESPN, since Wyshynski moved there and brought some of his Puck Daddy coverage there. He's been doing this daily, or they've been doing it daily. According to Money Puck, the Blues have a 92.5% chance. Sports Club Stats is at 88.1. So they basically went up 5 percentage points on all the sites after Colorado lost in regulation last night.
That was a big deal. I kind of losing in regulation. I didn't get to watch the end of that game. I watched the last like 30 seconds, but the last part of that period, people were saying that they peppered Philly, and they just could not score. So
thank you, Philly.
Yeah, thank you.
Second time in the last year that we have to thank Philly.
Thank you, Peter Mrazek.
Yeah.
Yes.
And thank you for taking Yori Laterra yet again. Man.
Yeah. Allen was in net versus Dell. I thought Dell was fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
I think I'm going to make a crazy claim here. Here's my hot take of the show. Aaron Dell's a free agent at the end of the year. I think someone's going to pay him big money thinking he's going to play this way as a starter, because he's had a really good year, insane year.
Yeah, he was something like 15-4-3 as a backup coming in the other night.
And he played Kurt said he played fantastic.
He did. He played great.
I was even saying this out loud because we talked on the show. You can't use the excuse, well, we ran into a hot goalie. You just can't use that as many times as the Blues have used it. But last night or 2 nights ago, if they would have used that, it's like, yeah, you kind of did because Aaron Dell played his ass off.
Yeah, he did. And the game had some similarities, I thought. I mean, as well as Dell played, that first goal, granted, screen shot under his arm, kind of threw him. Maybe one he wanted to have back. And, well, the first goal that San Jose scored against Allen, similar, under his arm, one he probably would like to have back. And then San Jose's first goal was a power play goal. Blues' first goal was a power play goal. So, and the first period, to be honest, San Jose, they outplayed us in the first period. Most of the first period. And then that goal that Sundqvist scored. First goal is a Blue.
Yes. Welcome to the score sheet.
Finally.
Oscar Sundqvist.
Finally.
Chris Thorburn, please stand up. It is now your turn to score.
Do you think he will score before the end of the season?
No, he's not going to score another NHL goal.
Oh, you think he's done after this year?
I don't know if he's done, but I don't think he's ever going to score again.
He
doesn't have the offensive know-how. It'd be like saying
against the Blues.
Yeah.
It's like I want to say that like 15% of his career goals came against the Blues.
On a Sundqvist goal,
3 goals.
Yeah, well, his career goals are not. What does he have? I don't know. It's not many.
Go ahead. I'll look it up. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that on Sundqvist's goal, I don't think Dunn got quite enough credit. Maybe he did. I didn't see it for that play because he made that play happen. He at the blue line, and really it could have gone very bad because he held it, and then dished it off at the last second as he's getting like attacked. Drew some defenders over and tossed it to Parayko, who then slipped it up to Sundqvist, who turned and scored. So, that pulled some players away. So, if that puck gets blocked, that pass gets deflected, blocked, they're going 2-on-0, 2-on-1 the other way. So,
I as someone who's obviously played his whole life, even though I'm not very good, I hate when players do that. I've had so many guys that'll straddle the blue line and just hold, and either they flip it to another player on another team, or they lose it, they get poked, and then there's a 2-on-0 the other way. And that's what I was thinking was going to happen. He held on to that puck for far too long, but sometimes we forget how amazing that guy is with the puck. He has been, even in his worst games, it's still not really, I mean, he's made some bad passes, but his stick handling and his know-how in the offensive zone has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
And to even question sometimes what he's doing, it's like, remember that you're the guy sitting on the couch and he's the guy that's out on the rink doing it.
People have to remember too that the players that have his skill set and they're able to pull off those really nice plays, the nice passes, the nice moves, they have the skill set to pull that off. So they're doing it more often, but it also means it's not going to work once in a while. So sometimes that nice pass point to point gets picked off, and not often, but when it happens, it's noticeable because you're like, oh man, you can think to yourself, if you're going to make that play, it better happen because it's a 2-on-0 the other way or a breakaway the other way, or you're passing across the slot trying to break out, and you don't want to whiff on the pass to a guy that's hanging around, But so you're going to see. You mentioned the occasional bad pass, which I think you're going to see with any guy who tries the kind of stuff that Dunn tries as much as he tries it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, and another thing I love about that play is, and I think John Kelly has said this on the air, those two, Dunn and Parayko, they get it. They understand each other. They have such good chemistry together. And I think he knew, all right, I don't have to put this on his tape. All I have to do is get it in his vicinity, and his reach is going to get that puck. And, I'm going to draw these guys to me and just throw it over there. And I know he's going to do the right thing. And that's exactly what happened. And I just, you gotta applaud a play like that. I mean, that's just great know-how by Dunn. And just good trust in his line mate.
We've talked about this before. The Dunn pickup, or the Dunn, realizing that we had a diamond in the rough with Dunn, is a big deal. He's like, oh, he's a really good defenseman, really good offensive defenseman that we weren't counting on having. So, and he's cheap.
He's cheap, and
Yeah.
he's light years ahead of Jay Bouwmeester at this
Oh,
point
God.
in Bouwmeester's career.
I thought the Blues forecheck against San Jose was fantastic. I thought that they had, it must have been 2 minutes. Oh yeah, we're looking at the Crosby goal. Yeah. That's sick. Isn't that sick?
Twice in a week.
Yeah, well, the other one was double
Right,
out of midair, but this one's the same
right.
thing.
The Kurt Price.
If anybody, yeah, you're right, exactly, the Kurt Price. Thank you. I did it first. But yeah, we were watching the Crosby game, the Crosby goal.
The Crosby game.
Well, it essentially
overtime game winner bats it out of the air on a rebound of his own shot.
Yeah, he shot the puck off the far post. It flies back and out in the air towards him, and he bats out of the mirror in the goal and scores it. Yeah. So
I still hate him.
I don't get that. I don't hate Crosby. I mean,
I'm sorry, Kurt.
But anyway,
your opinion is not valid because you also don't hate Mike Milbury.
I don't.
What?
I don't hate him.
Oh my God.
Well, he kind of looks like you, Bill. So I can't.
Hey!
Oh!
Oh no!
Oh no!
Sorry.
Oh
I meant Cam Neely. You look like.
Oh no, Bill! I think you are way better than this.
Thank you, Jeff.
Oh,
I mean, yeah. 3 years from now,
Somewhere in the Providence College jersey in honor of Eric Foley.
Okay.
The
Signing.
Eric Foley signing today.
Okay.
When I went to Providence, I played in a intramural hockey league, and my nickname on the team was Cam because everybody on the team said I looked like Cam Neely.
Sure. Yeah, I said that too.
No.
But actually, on our
Mike Milbury.
when our team was Snakes on a Plane and we had that website and I had pictures of everybody else,
right?
Yours was Milbury.
Yeah. Well, I think at one point mine for you. Another website was Brian Leach.
Right. Mine was Brian Leach. I was called Brian Leach on the rink one time, which I'll take.
I
wear a half shield. I wear a half shield at the time too, so it was like you put that on me, and it's
so basically in comparison, Bill looks like Cam Neely, and I look like Magnus Pay Harvey.
Yes,
that's fair. That's real fair.
But anyway, as I was saying, the Blues forecheck against San Jose, I hadn't seen them forecheck that well in a long time. It must have a few different times in that game. They had possession for it seemed like 2 minutes. They could not. San Jose could not clear the puck. The Blues held the puck in, and that was a very impressive forecheck by the Blues. I was impressed by that.
Yeah, I think against San Jose, that's really the only way to beat them. You have to stop the Brent Burns and the Vlasics and even the Paul Martins, who's had kind of a rough go this year, being demoted for a while. They're good puck moving defensemen. You have to get on them quick, otherwise they're going to get it up to those talented forwards right as they cross over their blue line. So getting on them fast, that's how you're going to beat them. And that's another reason, which we'll get into in a bit. And I don't mean to change anything here, because I know Bill probably has something to say about this, but that's why I hope the Blues get in the Pacific bracket of the playoffs, because that's the only team I think that would really give the Blues trouble. And I feel like they figured them out last night. Yeah, they barely beat them, but that's how you get past the Sharks. You stop their defensemen from breaking out so quickly.
Well, that's how the Blues were. That's how people were stopping the Blues, shutting down the points from the blue line.
Yeah, I totally agree with your point on the forecheck. The third period last night, we had 2 shifts where we just absolutely wore the defense for San Jose down. The forwards couldn't get the puck out. It was absolute domination. The last 2 games, we've played some just gritty, determined hockey to get huge points. That the game against Columbus, it was an incredible performance against a team that was second or third hottest in the league, apart from us. So the way that they've been playing and skating and really just dog it on the puck in the offensive zone. That was the key to their success when they went to the conference finals 2 years ago. And if they play like that, they get into the playoffs, whatever seed, as long as it's not first round against Nashville, I like our chances.
You mentioned hot teams. Like you said, Columbus had won 10 in a row, and we beat them, stopped that streak. San Jose had won 8 in a row, and we stopped that streak. Yeah. So, and now we have our own 6-game win streak.
So, after the Vancouver win, which Vancouver isn't very, I don't want to say a tough opponent because all 31 teams are good, but I thought, man, going into Columbus, they're on such a roll. They're at home. Mm-hmm. I mean, and not to rehash a game that before the San Jose game, but I mean it's the way they played was like, this is a team determined. I mean, it wasn't a lot of teams, even this time of year, would sit back early to be like, all right, let's weather the storm. Let's let them come at us. They're playing at the top of their game. If we can get out of the first period tied or down 1, we'll be fine. We'll take it to them in the second. The Blues, I felt, came out to win that game. I mean, they came out. I mean, I'm not saying they dominated play, but they did not sit back and let Columbus bring the play to them. They're playing like a team who knows they have to make the playoffs, and that if they don't come out strong, they may not come out at all. Because we've seen that with this team. They have a bad start. They let in a goal early, and then they're deflated the rest of the game. They're not playing like that right now. And seeing them play this way is very encouraging for this roster.
There were a few games during our 6-game win streak that the other team scored first. We've come from behind a few times against San Jose, down 1-0 and 2-1. Came back in that game, and there were other games where we were down in the third period. 2 games in a row, wasn't it? In the third period, we tied it up and won in overtime. So, it doesn't seem to matter anymore if we get down. The team does not. It almost rallies them.
It's crazy. I mean, it's such a flip from what we were seeing, and like you said, if people are like listening to our shows late, if they haven't heard our last episode, and then they hear this episode, they're like, "Whoa, what?" Yeah. The tone of these guys has completely changed. It's because the tone of this team has completely changed. It's really, I mean, again, it just shows you how one win in professional sports can completely change your outlook on a team. And that's what's happening. This team, they win the game against the Rangers, but I feel like that catapulted them. Again, I don't think momentum moves from game to game, but it gave them confidence. And they were able to move into Chicago, know that it doesn't matter if they're down in that game. I mean, we don't need to go into great detail here, but that bullshit call at the end of the second when the Blues scored and twice and they didn't count either one, and then they come right down and score a bad goal on Jake Allen. If that was 2 weeks ago, the Blues would have lost that game 5-1, 2, 3, whatever. They would have gotten blown out in that third period, but they came out with drive and said, "We're still in this, boys." And that's not something we were seeing just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that there was like a complete lack of belief in the team throughout the team through the months of January and February. And you get to March and Jay Bomeister goes down and the second game of the month, and for whatever reason, the team a couple games later just starts clicking, and it's night and day over a 2-week period. I mean, we were ready to talk about who should the Blues, how far should the Blues fall in the draft, and now it's exciting hockey again.
Yeah, some people were talking, maybe we can the bottom 10 to keep our first rounder this year.
What was that? New Jersey last year that dropped like 10 spots or something.
Yeah, and got the number 1 overall pick, right?
No, they got the number. Was it number 1 or was it number 2?
I thought they got
number one. You're right. They were number one.
Tarasenko had 2 goals in this game, and including the game winner in overtime. So
Puck
he
started going in for him again.
Yeah, he's got 3 straight games. He has goals, 4 goals total over those 3 games.
And
It's not just that the puck has started going in for him. It's that he's been hitting the damn net again.
Yeah, well, that they go hand in hand.
You're right. I want to say it might have been the Rangers game, maybe the Blackhawks game. He had 2 or 3 ridiculous chances and just could not find the back of the net. I mean, they ended up winning those games, but one of them that he had wide open net and missed. Again, I don't remember which game that was. There was another time where he had a great chance from the wing, missed the net, and it was just every chance he was getting, he could not find that accuracy that we've known him to have in the past. And now all of a sudden he found it again. And that's huge for this team. It's obviously you want your goal scorer scoring, but it's also giving him confidence. If he would have ended this season the way he was not scoring 2 weeks ago, I'd be really concerned about him in the future. But right now, the way he's playing, again, even if they miss the playoffs, the way that he's been finding the net, that makes me not worried about him for future seasons.
And Saboka's playing overtime.
Oh man, that the whole play on the game-winning goal, to put a forecheck on, pressure the puck, get the turnover, and then the backhand no-look pass across the crease. Just,
it was beautiful.
To kind of reinvigorate my tweet from a few games back at the beginning of the winning streak. Say it with me. I love Vladimir Saboka.
Yeah, right.
First, the first one was Patrick Berglund,
right?
And I got a lot of hate.
I had a hard time reading that. I was like, oh,
but Patrick Berglund's March numbers have always been good.
Yeah, which you know what? I'm in March. I'm thankful for, but in January, I'm cussing him out.
Yeah,
it's like, come on.
Well, and Jake Allen, like I how many times have I said on this show this year, just do not play Jake Allen in the months of January and February. Bring him back in March.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, and
it's confounding.
And Allen in this game was great again. And Allen, here's Allen's numbers this season. After his really nice run here, his GAA is 2.67, which is still pretty high. Save percentage of 908, which is still pretty low. He's won 8 of 9. Before that, he had lost 17 of 19. And before that, he had won 8 of 10. It doesn't get much more up and down than that. Granted, that's how the team was playing in front of him too, to some degree. But his just visually watching him play, his play is winning streak there is reflective of how he was actually playing too. So it wasn't just the team in front of him.
Speaking of goaltending, are you guys seeing what's going on in Chicago right now?
Yeah, I'm just reading that on Twitter.
Oh my!
That string goalie, emergency backup, who played 15 years ago at Western Michigan University.
Really?
Playing in his first NHL game.
Are they playing right now?
Yes.
Apparently, their goalie, I should have even heard of this guy, Colin Delia.
Right, he's the 4th string guy.
Yeah, he left with an injury, which that if they're putting in an emergency backup, it's a serious injury.
Yep.
So it finally happened. I've been saying for years, I can't wait to see one of these guys actually have to face NHL shots, and it's happening right now.
And the Hawks are winning 6-2.
That's insane. He won't get the win, but I mean that's.
But he could get the loss.
Oh yeah, I mean, dude. Apparently, it looks like he made a save on. Line A already.
Oh, the hottest goal scorer in the NHL,
dude. He could never play another hockey game again and say, "Yeah, I stopped Patrick Line one time." That's fantastic. Good for him. I hope he doesn't allow a goal.
That is. God, that's every goalie that didn't make its dream.
That's unreal. I cannot believe this is happening.
I played goalie 20 years ago.
Bill, what would happen? Well, I mean, seriously, like, walk me through that. If that game we went to against Winnipeg,
Yeah.
if they were like, "Hey, both our goalies just got hurt. Anyone in the crowd who can play goal, come downstairs right now." And you win in goal for the Blues.
Right.
How would you feel?
So I would totally volunteer to do it, but I've known for a long time that every arena, every city has a guy who's agreed to be on call.
Yeah.
Right.
Longest time for the Blues, it was Lindsay Middlebrook, who actually played in the NHL for the Rangers in the late 70s. And he's the guy that was the hockey guy at Johnny Mac's. I went to his goalie school a couple of times in the mid 90s. But yeah, I mean, that I always had that dream, to go to a game and Vincent Riendo's injured and Pat Jablonski or Jeff Sargent's testicle ruptured. Get in there.
Now it's the famous Tyler Stewart.
Yes.
Who is also known as Daddy Padre on the morning after, and who is Doug Vaughn's known enemy. But enemy. I've been drinking tonight.
But more on Allen. He's the second star of the week this last week, because he went 3-0-0 during the week, and with a 1.00 GAA and a 9.59 save percentage. So, but Allen's current numbers being what they are 2.67 GAA and 9.08 save percentage. After this really nice streak he's had, just kind of amplify how bad his numbers were before and how much of a turnaround he's been, because he's been really, really good these past 9 games plus, probably 10 games, I guess. But it really hasn't affected his numbers a whole lot. So, no Bomeister, no Gunnarsson, no problem.
No shirt, no shoes, no service.
Bomeister goes down. The Blues lose to San Jose 2-0 in the next game, but then win 8 of the next 9.
Coincidence?
So, I don't think so, because earlier in the season
when he was out,
when the Blues were playing great hockey when he was out, right? And then when he came back, then they struggled. The Blues record with Bomeister in the lineup this season is not good, and it's pretty outstanding with him out of the lineup. So, granted, there are other factors that come into play, obviously, but I'm not going to tempt fate and look a gift horse in the mouth. If it's something as simple as not playing Bomeister to win games, then you do that.
Well, I had this discussion last night with a couple of my teammates in the locker room about, for me, and everyone knows I'm not a Bomeister fan, but for me, it's not so much that Bomeister isn't playing, it's the fact that he gets so many minutes a night for a guy at his skill level, at his age. He's taking away minutes from the guys who actually are earning it and deserve it. So now that he's out, we're seeing Colton Parayko play more. We're seeing Vince Dunn play more. We're seeing Joel Edmondson, who's back in the lineup, play more. I mean, these are the guys who deserve to be on the ice against some of the top players in the league. And because they're playing more, the Blues are getting more sound defense. So again, it's not so much a knock at Bomeister. It's just the fact that he doesn't belong out there against those top guys anymore, and these other guys do. And now that they're out there against them, the Blues have a better chance of not allowing a goal. And I hope that means that the mindset for the defense next year is going to change. That, hey, Jay, it's your last season with the Blues. You might get another NHL contract, but it's not going to be with us. You're getting third line minutes. You're getting third pairing minutes. Probably not. They'll probably still throw him out there with Pietrangelo for whatever reason. But right now, this is the way I like the defense to look.
You know what? I agree with you. With the Chicago game being 6-2, or what it is right now, I'm kind of pissed because I put money in my Bovada account. And I was going to bet on Chicago tonight. I was like, yeah, I'll bet on Chicago to beat Winnipeg. I'll just put like $10 on Chicago. And I didn't do it. I could have won like $50 or something.
Is there a prop bet for emergency backup gets in?
No, I didn't see that at all.
The ability there.
I would be. Yeah, I was like, you know what, son of a. I could have bet the over too because it's over what I think the over under was like 5.5.
It's so 7 shots faced, 7 saves, and a couple of pretty decent ones.
Yep. So he's played well. That would have. When did he go in? He just went in, right? Like,
it was a couple minutes into the third period.
Yeah. Oh, and that's a good point. If I had known that he was going to have to play, I've been like, and still had money on Chicago. Oh, son of a. Oh well, shoot. So playoffs, guys. 6 games left in the standings. We are currently the first wild card spot. We do have a shot at 3rd place in the division. Do we want it?
No.
I agree.
No, I don't want to go up against Winnipeg in the first round.
We ran a poll earlier today, and Twitter agrees. 81% want to face Vegas. 11% would prefer to face Winnipeg. 8% wants to play Nashville. Who's that 8%?
That's I mean, you got to figure.
Aside from being, hey, I want to play Nashville, revenge from last year, or I hate Nashville, I want to play them. I get that aspect of it, but
it's over.
Foster was it 7 for 7?
7 for 7.
And they mobbed him. That's awesome.
God, that's so cool.
It's awesome.
You know what? Forget about what I said about Aaron Dell getting the big contract. Now it's going to be Scott Foster. No, I mean, you got to figure though that poll that we took. I mean, it was answered by 3 people, and they're all in this room right now talking.
No, there were a lot of votes.
I know. There was at least 9. But no, I mean, I actually said that a couple years ago. The year that they beat the Hawks, I remember we had that discussion and said, "Who do you want in the first round?" And I don't remember who the choices were, but obviously one of them was the Blackhawks. And I said, "Bring on the Blackhawks."
Me too.
I want to see the Blues beat the Blackhawks because they need to get that revenge. But I will say now, with how strong the Predators are, I think this is one of the strongest teams to come out of the West in probably since the Blackhawks, the last time they won the Cup. I don't want to play Nashville.
Ooh.
I want to take the easy route. I said it earlier in the show. I hope the Blues get in the Pacific bracket because I think they can take down Vegas. I think they can take down the Kings if they make it in. I think they can take down the other top seed over there, San Jose. But the problem is I think San Jose is their biggest competition over there. But I still think Nashville is the class of the West. I think Winnipeg's right behind them. I don't want to face either of those teams. Plus, I don't want to play a motivated Paul Stastny.
They give him 3rd star.
They gave him 3rd star. They gave Foster 3rd star.
Nice.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Beautiful. It's tough to admire anything about the Blackhawks, but got to give them props on this. This is they're doing it right.
You see what Steve-O Twitter Outhouse posted a bumper sticker we sold on letsgoblues.com years ago. It says I accelerate for Red Wings fans. Go Blues.
Nice. Some letsgoblues.com nostalgia.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. That's funny. Should bring that back.
Actually, sorry, no. He was 1st star of the game. Seabrook was
First
the 3rd star, Yurko the 2nd, and emergency goaltender Scott Foster the 1st star. That's a little.
I like that. Screw it.
Yeah,
the stars don't mean anything.
Yeah, it's
that's cool.
Yeah,
I mean he will likely never play in another game, so give him the number 1 star. That's cool. That's the big story of the game anyway. Why not make him the number 1 star?
Yeah.
So if we did finish in the 2nd wildcard spot, we would face Nashville. And if we then finished in the 1st wildcard spot, we would then face Vegas. based on how the standings are now. Which with Minnesota winning, that it doesn't worry me that we would catch them quite as much. I mean, there's only a few games left, so I want Vegas. That's and we kind of tweeted back and forth today, Jeff, about that. How we both wanted Vegas, of the three teams, for some time. So I want nothing to do with Nashville. Winnipeg is a beast at home. Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Even when the Vegas Golden Knights were on top of their game and they were winning seemingly every single night, I still would have said, "Give me Vegas," because they're riding the high of being the first expansion team to win their division in the NHL. Well, besides obviously the year that all expansion teams have their own division.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, they're going to ride in that high, and you got to figure the first two games are going to be tough. But I really feel like the Blues, and really any wild card team, would have a good chance against them, just because they're inexperienced as a playoff team. And I know that we said that in the regular season. Well, they're inexperienced, and they still came out and won a bunch of games. But we know what Nashville is. We know what Winnipeg is. Sorry, Vegas, as good as you are, you're still a new team. We don't know what you are until we see you in the playoffs. So,
and players like David Perron, who are having a very good season, are notorious for not showing up in the playoffs. So there's that aspect of it too. So because the playoffs are a completely different animal.
Right. So the two guys that come to mind when you talk about decent regular season performers that don't show up in the playoffs, Marc-Andre Fleury. He had the one really good series last year for Pittsburgh, but he was notorious for giving up series. He lost out to a 21-year-old Matt Murray 2 years ago, and that's why he's in Vegas now. But that's huge. If Vegas doesn't get the goaltending, that's going to be insane. But say the Blues do get Vegas in the first round, the season ends tonight. That's where we're at. Do you want your team staying in Las Vegas over a 2-game series there for 5 days? The Blues are going to be the first team to test those waters. I'm not comfortable.
How much trouble can you get into?
Right, I'm not comfortable with that. And that's kind of the sideshow story. But man, do you I don't know. Do you make them stay in Phoenix? I don't know. I'm hopefully the Blues continue their play, and hopefully they hold on to their spot. Right. Which we're not taking anything for granted.
About a 90% chance of making the playoffs according to various websites. So it sounds good. But Blues fans know otherwise that shit happens. Yeah. So don't count your chickens before they're hatched or whatever.
Yeah. Well, look at the remaining schedule. Isn't the last game against Colorado?
Last game is against Colorado. 2 before that against Chicago.
And
so
Chicago with a 5th string goalie just knocked off the Jets.
Right. Yeah. In Chicago. And you know how Blackhawks and Blues games go. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how bad a team is. It's the other team gets up for it. So
yep.
That it showed the other day when we had it took overtime to beat them. So, maybe at the end of the season, I don't know. Teams love to play spoilers, so and hopefully it does not come down to that. Hopefully it's not a thing where the Blues have to win at least one in Chicago and then hope to get 1 point in Colorado or something stupid like that. Because that game's in Colorado too.
Right. And then tomorrow night we're in Vegas.
Yes, which is a playoff preview, maybe.
Yeah.
You got to figure too that the Blues are licking their chops for Vegas. The players know that's who they want. It's not like they're gonna score Nashville and be like, oh well, we're done. But I'm just saying they know, like the fans do, like the coaches do, like the media does, the team that you want to face in the first round is the Vegas Golden Knights. And they're gonna be up for that game tomorrow night to say, we're gonna show you, if you play us in the first round, it's not gonna be an easy match for you.
Well, the Blues really should have beat them the first time they played them this season.
That overtime.
Right. And and they beat them the second time. So they played them twice, and the Blues should have won the first game. They outplayed them. And the second game they won. So the Blues have played really well against Vegas this season so far. So they got that going for them.
Which is nice.
I guess we can do you want to open the show up to listeners, or we're gonna wrap it up here? Let's see. We can do
let's open the show.
open it up.
I think we have some tweets to respond to probably.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and read the first one here that I got from Brian Roberts, which you can follow on Twitter at BAR05337. Hopefully that's not his birthday, March 3rd of 1937. He tweets us. I think this was when I made the comment about hopefully earlier in the show. When I said hopefully the Blues can get in the Pacific bracket. He says, won't matter, be one and done anyways, but think better chance to win is Vegas. I as much as I hate to say it, I agree with him if the Blues end up playing the Predators or even the Jets. I think that's a first round loss. But again, I think if they get in that Pacific bracket, could be a Western Conference team. Now, you could argue that's a good or a bad thing because a lot of us are wanting change, which I still do. I think there still needs to be a large change with this team over the summer. And if you go to the Western Conference final, that might not happen. But, I still think this is a sport. We're all fans. And then, it's a business, but you want your team to succeed. You want your team to make revenue. You want your team to make money. And they're going to do that if they make the Western Conference final.
We've got some of these social media fails are from last week's show that we didn't get to. So I can read some of these, I guess.
Yeah.
I can do I'm gonna do the one on the bottom here. On the thread posted after they lost to Colorado. Okay. Gary Elberg. This is on the Blues official Facebook page, social media.
And get the context right here. This is back when the world was ending.
Right. The world was ending. Gary Elberg says they're not going to make the playoffs. Let that sink in. Dump the dead weight. So this is a tweet that did not age well. But I don't usually do this, but I clicked on Gary's Facebook page, and the last two public posts he's made are foods that look like vaginas. And they're a week apart. It's not like he did it 30 minutes apart. No, he did this 1 week, and then a week later he did it again with a different food item. So plus his banner image is a fruit that looks like a vagina. This is a grown-ass man too. It's not a kid. Stay classy, Gary.
Yeah, we're going a couple layers into Facebook for the social media fans.
I just thought it was funny. I don't know why I clicked on his name. I'm like, well, this guy's obsessed with food that looks like vaginas.
Wow.
Anyhow.
Yeah, that's good for him, I guess. He found his calling. Facebook vagina images. And then, I don't know if you want to go through all of them, but the one that I like that we pulled out, because I'm an English major, English graduate, I guess, from Joachim Eric Malmquist from the upcoming roast of Darren Pang on the Blues official Facebook page. He says, the Blues is a joke.
Well,
the Blues is a joke.
All of those are in response to the upcoming roast of Darren Pang. David Kelly says, the first half was great. Then the wheels fell completely off and the dumpster fire started. which is weird. Just,
Mixed
like,
metaphors.
yeah, it's like, well, what's the okay? This is not what we're talking about. Next guy, Michael Hudson. Why do we have a Blackhawk announcing our games?
Because he's talking about Old Check.
No,
Oh
I mean,
no, he's talking about
Pang.
Pang.
Pang's only been doing this for what, 10 years with us or something like that?
Well, that and the fact that before this, he was an NHL announcer for 15 years.
And he's just now realizing this. Pang's been our color guy for a long time now.
I have even if Jeremy Roenick started calling the Blues games, that would not be my first problem with it. Oh, he's a former Blackhawk. It's the fact that I don't like him as an announcer. Like, that's your argument if that's really the problem you want to take.
And then Joaquin says the Blues is a joke. And then Jim Rink says Pang sucks. And then Garen Thoreau says, God, I have listening to him. And then Christopher Rees says, thank God. None of these make any sense or they're stupid. It's just all just insanely stupid things that are being said about talk about the roast, for God's sake.
Yeah, I know.
On the official account.
God.
It's like if for those that have done this, if you want good entertainment, you go to the STL Today stories and you read the articles and you read the comments and you're just like, oh my God, what is wrong with people? It's the same way with the Blues Facebook page. Any post they make, there are so many. I mean, that's where we got the why not Binnington.
Right.
I mean, there was a call up for, I think it was a defenseman like Chris Butler or something, and somebody responded with, "Why not Binnington?" Because he's a damn goalie. I mean, you see this on every single time the Blues post on Facebook.
Did you read the first one, Jeff? The Blues Lounge one?
I didn't read it on the show. No.
Okay. So, and the last one we'll do here is the St. Louis Blues Lounge. When they're discussing lineup changes, Rob Gilbert. Sorry, Rob Gilbert. Well, yeah, it's a hockey show. Rob Gilbert. I wouldn't change anything until we start losing, even if Fabry miraculously came back tomorrow. You wouldn't want Fabry back in the lineup if he came back tomorrow over Thorburn or Sundqvist. Give me a break, you idiot.
guys. The Blues are winning and they're playing great. You got to keep it up. You got to keep things going the right way. I mean, I like the way they've been playing. I think that they're going to find a way to win every game because that's just what this team does. They just know how to win. They just know how to keep going and play the way they can play. I mean, that's what you got to do.
Social media influencer.
Oh, was that what I was doing? Oops. Sorry.
It's kind of obvious.
Give me Chris Thorburn every day as long as they're winning.
Yikes.
I'm going to retweet this here from Mr. Ott. Because I like it. That bumper sticker is good stuff.
Was that our buddy, not Steve Ott, but
that is Steve
Ott?
That is Steve Ott. Yep.
Steve Ott, the
not the former player.
Right.
No, it's Steve Ott. The yes, I went to high school with Steve Ott, yes.
That works where Jeff and I work.
Oh yeah, right. He does, doesn't he? Yes. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah. A Steve Ott, not Steve Ott reference.
Right.
So I thought we had a question.
We do have a question. It is from, Brian Roberts says, won't matter about the poll, who would you rather the Blues play, or Vegas? And he said, it won't matter, be one and done anyways, but think better chance to win is Vegas. Brian Roberts, not the most optimistic of Blues fans.
Yeah. He's been conditioned well.
Yeah, he has. But I'll tell you what. If there's 6 games left, if the Blues finish off winning 5 of 6, 5 last 6, and have won 11 of 12, going to the playoffs or something crazy, and they're playing really good hockey, getting really good goaltending, I wouldn't really understand a post like that at that time necessarily. I mean, I understand that the team didn't play well for large chunks of the season, but they're playing really well right now, like they did earlier in the season to start the season. So I think I wouldn't really understand the negativity to that point where there's just like no hope. You know what I mean? Because I mean, if you're playing that well, if you won 11, 12 going to the playoffs and getting really good goaltending, you've got a shot against anybody, to be honest. So we'll see. We also had a question from where'd it go? Let's see. Is it better to be down to the wire and have people on edge or relaxed at game 77? This is from Kelly Wilson at Kelly Sue Wilson on Twitter.
I think it's a little from column A and a little from column B. I think
No, it's an A or B question.
Yeah,
That's not both. You can't do it. You can't do that.
right. This
It's
isn't this isn't a buffet.
you got to pick one, Jeff. Come on. Quit riding the fence, politician. Get off this show.
just
No, go
call me,
ahead.
just call me John Kerry. No, I think that you want to have some competition. I mean, I think every year the problem that the Washington Capitals have is they don't play meaningful games from December on. And then they hit the playoffs and they got to hit the reset button, which is hard to do. But I will say that I think it's good to have a little comfort. If you're jockeying for position in the playoffs, if it's like, well, we think we're going to make it here, but we're going to, we're hang on a second. Sorry, go ahead. You guys take it on.
We're doing a show here. What are you doing? All right. He's got life going on in his house.
Oh, I hate when life gets in the way. So
Put her on the show. All right.
yeah. So I think my answer to the question is it better specifically for the Blues? I think it's better for it to be going down to the wire, because
Hey, somebody wants to join the show.
Hey.
Say let's go Blues. Go ahead.
Let's go Blues.
Oh, there you go.
That sounded forced to me. I
That's
don't
what
buy
you wanted, Kurt. You said you wanted her to join the
I
show.
don't buy it.
Sorry, Bill. Go ahead.
Is she a Bowmeister fan?
Yeah. Wait, who wears the Berglund jersey in the house?
I asked her if she's a Bowmeister fan. She said, "Fuck no."
Okay.
Appropriate response.
You were saying?
So I think for this team, this is not not just because we played shitty hockey for 2 months and we're happy to be here. We're happy to be pushing to get into the playoffs. But I think for this group, it's not a dominant team. So you want them to be playing with desperation as much as possible to get used to that mentality. I mean, it's like, you think back to the Kings, the year that they barely got in the playoffs. Shouldn't have gotten the playoffs because of that extra second they got in the goal against
Won the cup.
Columbus. Yeah, they won the cup. And they played with desperation after game 3. They were down 3-0 to San Jose in the first round, came back, won 4 straight. You want the team that's firing, playing from desperation as you get into the playoffs. I think last year, we had, when we got down to the end, we were resting players, and it took it seemed like it took them a little bit to get started. And I forget what year it was, but a couple of years ago, we had it wrapped up and just really didn't get it going. I think that was the Minnesota series.
Yeah.
That we just couldn't find that extra gear. And right now they've got it. Keep humming, keep going at this rate.
I agree. I think with the way the Blues had played during the middle of the season, in that being not well, I think this team is playing with urgency right now. So I think that they have to play this way. They had to. They had to run off 5, 6, 7 in a row to get back into the playoffs, and they did it. So I think that's a good sign that they're basically, they've been playing. You hear this every year. The last however many games, it's got to be playoff hockey. Treat it like a game 7. A number of teams have to do that every year, and the Blues are doing it this year. So And they're beating, they're winning. They're whether it be overtime, I don't care. They're winning. So, I like the fact that when the pressure's on, this team is playing its best hockey of the season or close to it. So, I like it. I agree with you guys.
I mean, I won't finish my comment because I got interrupted rudely by life. Apparently, I let the dog in without wiping his paws, so that was the issue.
Wow.
Having.
Dog owner mistake.
That couldn't have waited until the show was over.
I know, that's what I said. God, women, right?
No, don't get me started, please.
But no, the point I was wanting to make was you want your team playing meaningful games, but I think you want them to start doing it much sooner. So for the Blues, they started playing these meaningful games, playing them like they're meaningful games a little later than we would have liked. I think if they were already set in a playoff spot now, maybe like where Minnesota is, but just jockeying for position, that's kind of what you want at this point.
Yep. And the Kings almost scored like 3 times in a matter of about 4 seconds.
Yeah, it's just a terrible giveaway.
Yeah.
Like Dustin Brown standing alone, I think it was him standing alone in the slot, and the Coyotes player just chipped it to him.
Yep, right to him. So in a game that's pretty important as far as the Blues are concerned, Coyotes and Kings tied at 1, second period. So
and Blues in Phoenix Saturday night. So
yeah.
So hopefully they can do us a couple of favors and win this one and lose Saturday.
Based on how our record is in the second half of back-to-backs and the fact that it's Phoenix, if we lose that game, that's yeah.
Well, you could say what you want about Arizona, but they've actually since January 1, they've played very, very well. So that's going to be a tougher game than you might think.
Okay.
Yeah, and let's look at Jeff getting all proper and calling them by their right name.
We both called them Phoenix, didn't we?
I was gonna say, yes, you did. I was gonna say, what are they doing in Phoenix? The game's in Glendale.
Whatever. Whatever.
They'll always be the Jets to me.
So Jets and what? Jets the sequel?
They're still Billy Joel to me, and it's like buffering now. Yeah, so if anybody would like to join us and talk some hockey, the lines are open, as they say. I tweeted out the link, so go to on Twitter. Go to on Twitter and grab the link. I didn't put it on the site this time.
Find us on the Twitters.
I'm getting away from putting that stuff on the sites, actually. So
kind of, I guess, maybe last part of a discussion, unless somebody joins us. Question for you guys. Carter Hutton, hypothetically, doesn't play a game the rest of the season. What happens in the summer with the Blues goaltending?
I think he will play a game.
Well, I'm saying, let's just say Jake Allen closes out the year. That's what I'm saying. He played for every game.
Playing well like he is now. God, I mean, a couple weeks ago, I was like, the rumor was that Armstrong was tired of Allen's yearly hiatus and wanted to move him. But like I said, I at the time I'm like, I don't know who takes the guy playing the way he is with his salary the way it is and his contract the way it is. So they scored.
Yep.
Arizona scores up 2-1.
Backhander.
Nice. Oh, yeah, that'd be huge if they could win this game.
Yeah.
What I want to happen, what I think is going to happen, are two different things. I think the Blues will stick with Allen. I don't have any answers as far as who they would get in place of him if they moved him or if they whatever. But
we're talking about after.
I don't want to
the
offseason.
Yeah,
I don't want to be knee jerk here and say, "Oh my God, I'm in love with Allen. I'll keep him now," because almost the entire season I was done with him. I'm tired of it. This shouldn't change that for me. This 9 games.
it depends who's the replacement.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
That's
That's a huge deal.
right.
I know.
because if Philly Husso was declared NHL ready next year, I would say okay, I'm ready to part ways with Jake. I'm done with him. But he's got another 2 years on contract.
4.
Is it 4?
Yeah, I think his new contract. His new contract starts next year.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little too optimistic given.
That's why I don't think he's going to move anywhere.
Right.
Because I mean, unless he, but to be honest, if Allen finishes the season strong like he's been playing, and say he single-handedly wins the first round, then all of a sudden his value is high again.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. Really,
if his value goes up, move him, because I still don't I don't think he's long term. He has never demonstrated consistency.
Yeah, that's not. And I'm not saying he couldn't be consistent, but I'm tired of the carousel of consistently being inconsistent. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't want to go through it again. Now, yeah, sure. Next year maybe he does get it together and put together a full solid season.
Haven't seen it yet.
But that's not been the pattern with him so far.
I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of waiting is my thing.
He has a pattern that I don't like, and I don't want to do it again.
And Bill, I'm with you. I know that we can say, hey, just don't play him in January and February, but he's paid to be a starter in the NHL.
Absolutely.
I mean, and I know you kind of say that tongue in cheek, but you can't do that. You can't say every year, well, we got to know that we're going to give our starter a mental break. Even if you're paying a guy to be a 1A, 1B, you can't expect that. And I think, and I do think, and I know that we've complained about Armstrong a lot on this year or on this podcast, and I'm definitely not his biggest fan, but there is one thing he doesn't do, and that's sit back and wait in the summer to see what happens. I think he will still actively try to move Allen, and I'm 100% on board with that. I mean, again, it depends on what the alternative is, because we don't know what that is at this point, but I just hope it's not Hutton Husso.
Yeah, I don't.
Hutton's played great, and I commend him for proving me wrong in every way, because I was not a fan of his signing. But if you think that it's going to be Hutton Husso and you're going to have a winning team next year, I'm not on board with that. So, but if the alternative is something like bringing in another guy who can be your starter that's just as good as Jake is now, but for all season, I'm on board with that. I have no problem. Like you've said 1,000 times, Kurt, I just want somebody in net who's going to give us the chance to win games. I don't care who that is. So if you can find somebody that can do that not 82 games a year, but you know what I mean, throughout the season, great. But if the alternative, again, is just going to be, well, we'll re-sign Hutton and bring up Husso, I'd rather keep Jake and see if he can do it for a full season next year.
That would make me nervous. The whole season, I would almost be waiting for him to crumble.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It was kind of weird this year. I'm still actually waiting for him to crumble back to where
I am too.
I'm very. He makes me very nervous still. But he has been he's been really, really good the past 10 plus games here. So I'm thankful for that, because he's a big part of the reason why the Blues are back in the race now. But I'm just tired of the roller coaster.
All right. So this may not be the offseason to do it. So here are the available free agent goaltenders.
Nothing was coming to my mind, so I didn't think there was anything out there.
Ilya Bryzgalov, Jimmy Waite.
Well, yeah, because they're retired.
See, you had to make a trade then.
It would have to be acquiring somebody else's. Yeah. But Kari Lehtinen is rated the number 1 goalie.
Letting him in.
Yep. And
no thanks.
He just lost tonight. Our good buddy Nick Yaroslav Halak.
Oh no,
he's number 2.
No,
Robin Lehner. This is the one guy on the list that intrigues me. Put him.
About Dell,
with a good friend.
Yeah. I was just gonna say Aaron Dell or Scott Foster. Let's give them a shot.
Yeah. So Bell's not on the list, but yeah, Mrazek, Cam Ward, Jonathan Bernier, Eddie Lack, Chad Johnson, Connor Hellebuck, but no way is he going free agent.
He's an RFA though.
He's
too,
an
right?
RFA, right?
You know?
Yeah, and so is Lanner and Mrazek. But yeah, there's not a whole lot out there. Carter Hutton is on this list, and he's ranked 15th. So,
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
so it has to be a
it's-
trade. And how often do you see good goalies get traded?
If it came down to Robin Lehner or Jake Allen, I'd rather give Jake another shot just because I don't think Lehner's a bad goalie, but I haven't seen him prove it consistently either.
yeah,
And
but
I think might as
he's a
well
lot
stick with
worse
the guy
than
you got.
one of them. Yeah, no, I tend to agree with you there. And if the plan is to transition away from Jake Allen, then do a 1A 1B with Ville Husso next year,
I don't even.
assuming he's ready. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they could move Allen. Like I said, unless he has a finish the season like he's been playing now and kicks ass in the playoffs. I don't think they could trade him and get something to help them in net. I don't think it would happen.
Yeah, I agree.
It's frustrating. But
This
yeah.
will be a topic, I'm sure, in coming episodes.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about it in the off season if we have a show or two. Okay.
I think side note, we should try to have one or two more shows this summer.
We especially if something happens, we'll have a show.
Yeah, I think last year we had one off-season show. We should try to do one or two more.
Well, we had the expansion draft show.
Mm-hmm. That was the one I'm talking about.
That was fun.
That was a good time.
It was.
We didn't have Bill for that episode.
No, that was at the Blue Note Sports Bar and Grill.
Yeah,
So it was fun.
I think I was traveling for work for that.
Hmm.
That was July. Yeah, I think it was. I was up in Minnesota for work.
Well, that's peak time for your street corner you're at.
Yeah, the bunny suit wearing street corner.
I
walking.
keep forgetting we're not supposed to talk about that.
Talk about these things.
First rule about street walking in a bunny suit is don't talk about street walking in a bunny suit.
He does hide those eggs well.
All I'm saying is I know the assholes that look at people that do that kind of thing. At least in our corporate world, because I am them.
I was gonna say you're part of that, my friend.
So our next show,
Well, it can't be Wednesday because that's Wednesday night rivalry night with the Blackhawks, unless we do a post game show, which probably
all right,
not.
I'm on the wrong month here. So it'll be April. Oh yeah. Ooh. So it'll be Tuesday or Thursday night.
Yeah.
Next week, either the 3rd or the 5th. So hey, you know what? Maybe a game on the 5th would be nice. Sandwich between the two Hawk games. I don't know. We'll see.
I think that's probably the better option.
Yeah, and then because then it'll be the last show before playoffs.
Yeah,
And-
I'm
And I
on
may
with
be
that.
golfing on Tuesday night, so
Okay.
Yeah, I think Thursday the 5th works the best, and then maybe we try to fit in a show right before the playoffs start, which will probably be that Wednesday, is my guess. The
Yeah,
11th.
they'll have at least like 3 or 4 days off.
assuming we make the playoffs, we're not taking anything
Right,
for
right.
granted.
Well, even then, I think we should still have either a post game wrap or post season wrap up show or a post season preview show.
Right.
Yep.
It'll be
It's
a
a little fun English play. I played with words there. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
so yay or nay? Blues in the playoffs. Bill,
Yay.
Jeff,
Yay.
yay for me too.
Last show, if you would have done that, I think you would have gotten completely different responses.
That's true. You
Yeah,
know, that's
yeah.
what a difference 2 weeks makes. My God.
It is insane.
And that's exactly why people who make blanket statements on Facebook or on Twitter or Facebook about this team, about not having a chance against anybody. It doesn't matter who they play in the first round, they're one and done. Whatever. You never know. I mean, okay, say that a team, if you're going to, in the first round, say they match up against Vegas and you pick Vegas, okay, fine. That's fine. They are the better, higher seed. They'll be favored. But anybody will come out and say the Blues have no chance. Baloney. That's just ridiculous. No chance. No chance means it's impossible for the Blues to win, which is not true at all.
You know, Kurt, you know what they say. That's why we play the games.
That's why they play the games. It's not. I'm not just being stupid about the whole playoff thing here. It's anytime a goal scored, and the announcer says so and so had no chance. Well, the hell he didn't. He had a chance.
Just like the Bruins game when Jake was run out of the crease.
Well, he had no chance on that
And
one.
he had no chance on that. Well, yeah, no shit, because the Bruins ran him out of the crease.
Right. Exactly.
Now I'm getting angry again.
Yeah. Jeff's getting angry. George is getting angry.
George is getting upset.
Any more tweets? Is that it? Nope. The last one we got was the -1 from Mr. Brian Roberts. And thanks again, Steve, for the I Accelerate for Red Wings fans bumper sticker. Good times.
That's beauty.
It's a beauty shot. Beauty goal. That'll do it for this week's episode of Let's Go Blues Radio. Don't forget to check out the Blue Note Sports Bar and Grill in Maryland Heights, Missouri, and also Sunrise Brewery in Midtown St. Louis.
Before sign off,
Yes.
talked about Chris Thorburn earlier.
Yes.
Anybody want to take a shot on how many career goals he has?
12.
14.
52.
Really?
Yeah, he had a 9-goal season once for the Atlanta Thrashers, their last year in Atlanta.
Oh, he's been in the league for a while. I
He's
was
been in the league since 05-06.
okay. Yeah.
How many goals does he have against the Blues of those 52?
It's
You've got
got to
that-
be like 6.
I'm gonna go. Price is right. $1.
It's 3.
I win.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't. It. We talked about this with Nathan McKinnon. It seems like Nathan McKinnon scores every time he plays against the Blues, but
It was back-to-back games.
yeah, but it was because like the last 2 years he's played well against the Blues. Before that,
Well,
he didn't have a goal.
We played him back-to-back games, I think, and he had the tying goal in the third, I think, in 2
Right.
games in a row. And that's what people are thinking of.
Yeah, and but yeah, with Chris Thorburn, I think it's the same thing. I think he had a couple good games in a row, and that's how we remember him.
Well, shit. I remember going to a game. I think it was our first or second game back when he was with the Thrashers. And the first or second game of the season, we played them, and he scored a goal. It had to have been like 07, and it was like that guy has no talent. Why, if we're giving up goals to him, it's going to be a long season. It was a long season.
Yay or nay on the wooing?
Nay.
No,
Nay.
Thank you.
What?
No.
So I'm glad LA just tied it.
Yeah.
I'm glad I haven't spent so much time in Scott Trade Center this year, but basically like all the things that I'm hearing coming out, like we're just becoming like every other arena with the
In-game presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
They've done away with the organ.
not entirely, but you don't hear it
mostly.
much anymore. They say, I mean, it's played after goals initially, but then the music takes over.
Yeah.
Which I don't like.
Yeah.
yeah, they do the Seven Nation Army song, which is like every arena now.
Yeah.
They do the woo, which there have even been NHL players who've said, "Please stop doing the woo."
Yeah. They say it's annoying as hell.
It's Boston and I think it started in Carolina and then Boston picked it up. And now
I think Philly's doing it too.
Philly, I know Philly players were like outspoken and saying, "Knock it off! It's annoying."
Yeah, and now the Blues are doing it. It's
Well, you know who to blame for that,
oh yeah, Patrico.
right? He put that up on the board.
Yeah, no, it's because he's a huge wrestling fan. Too.
I know. But you know what? Don't bring your personal bias into the.
That's got to stop. I mean, it seriously has to stop. It's the beauty of the Blues arena when you go to the game, and it's like this with so many teams in the NHL, that it's its own experience. And in the Blues goal song, the only thing to me that's really been annoying that can go away is the song 2 at the end of a win. Yet that has always remained constant.
Yeah.
But like everything else has been like its own experience when you go to Scott Trade Center. But ever since he's taken over the DJ duties, it's becoming like any other arena in the NHL.
Yeah, well, people will say, "Well, the fans are so quiet. People they got to get something to get them excited." You know what? You know what fans get excited over? Goals.
Yeah.
And when they score, they jump up and cheer, and then they play the stupid music. You don't need like you said, having it personalized for St. Louis is a deal. There's tradition there. It's a thing that is ours and no one else has. The when the Blues go marching in on the organ, when the Budweiser theme on the organ, it's just that's to those teams' roots. So
Ernie Hayes.
Yeah, exactly. So I like music. Don't get me wrong. I love it. And I'm not against having music played during the game, but don't do it in lieu of what made St. Louis hockey experience cool.
Right.
Well, and I'm even fine with a woo every now and then. If it's like once, twice a game, right before a face-off, they do the woo. Okay. But when it's 20 times during a game, that's insane.
The problem with something like that, though, is if people take it and they just run with it, and they will just go crazy with it. It's like the power play dance. It's just out of control.
Yeah, no, it's the woo thing. Like, no, just kill it, suffocate
I agree.
it, drown it in a bath.
I agree. They don't need the Seven Nation Army crap.
Yeah, that. I mean, come on. I mean that, like I said, that's becoming every single, not just NHL, it's every major hockey team is starting to adopt that song, and that's too much. I mean, come on, again,
Right.
It's a personalized experience. Make it about the team, not what every other team is doing.
Actually, if the Blues were to go back to more organ play, then that would be.
I would love that. Dude, have you ever been to a game at United Center?
Not in a while. Not in a long time.
They do the organ like crazy, and I love
As
it.
they should.
It sounds so awesome.
It's a tradition there. The organ is a tradition anywhere you go. A lot of minor league arenas have them. It's just it's always been that way.
Watch Slapshot.
Watch Slapshot, exactly.
And it'd be nice for a
fade again.
It'd be nice for a team that's named after a type of jazz to be more musically oriented.
Yeah.
And they're just not. They're starting to adapt or adopt all these other things that every other team is doing.
And it makes no sense that they every once in a while they try and phase out the organ play more.
Right.
And there's backlash from fans, and then they bring it back a little bit. And it's just like, why do you keep trying to screw with this stuff?
Right.
I tweeted that at the Blues when they first changed the Seven Nation Army song. I just tweeted, I said, listen, you guys do this every 5 or 6 years where you try to change it and you get so much backlash that you change it back. So just do us all a favor and just change it back now rather than wait until next season.
It's not broken. It's not broken.
No.
Don't fix something that's not broken. It's great the way it was.
Right. If you're doing so, let's assume that they've done some surveys and some kind of market research here. Stop doing it in the lounge. Please.
No, I don't think the team. I don't think the team. I don't think the people in charge of these decisions. I don't think Patrico understand how. I mean, how long could he have been a fan to be screwing with this stuff? I don't get it.
I was listening, and again, I'm not. Patrico does a fine job. Whatever. I just think he's not in tune with the hockey fans. Neither is a lot of the interns they have running this stuff. But I was listening to their show, and they were recapping a game recently, and I cannot remember who it was, but they were he does the sports on the Riz show. I wish I could remember what goalie it was, but he could not pronounce the goalie's name at all. And I thought, yeah, I can tell that you are not much. I mean, again, it's not his fault. He's not a hockey fan. It's the Blues for trusting him with these decisions. But I mean, it's obvious. Like, the guy does not know. He's not in tune with the hockey community like somebody in his position should be.
Did they do the woo thing against San Jose the other night? Because it was a couple of games. It was a game before that, right, where it started?
Yeah, I think they did.
Did they?
I don't think it was as much, but
because he caught flack on social media for it, and he responded to it, and basically, oh, we're trying something different. You know, like don't try something different.
Just don't.
What is the point of? I'm trying something different. Why? There's a history of what works.
It's different in St. Louis, but it's now the same as everywhere else.
It's stupid. And we're trying something different. No, don't do something different. Do what works in the past for the Blues.
Right. Like you said,
God,
it ain't broke.
It ain't broke. Don't fix it. Jeez.
I think it was Hellebuck. He couldn't say. He was calling him like Hellbusick or something.
Yeah.
Hellebuck.
This has been your St. Louis Blues, your Let's Go Blues Radio curmudgeon hour.
Right. Bring back the radio rants.
Well, we did.
Yeah. Should have done it earlier.
Yeah.
Should have led the show with this. Yeah, we'll close it here. For Jeff Ponder and Bill Day, I'm Kurt Price. That will conclude this week's broadcast of Let's Go Blues Radio. Until next time, everyone, let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Sport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available. A look at sports. I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news about our St. Louis Blues? They've only just begun, they're on their way to number one. Now there's no more blues for us.